Would that it were. I should not be so frozen to the spot as I had become. All reason had left me. I could not tell you to this day what I had thought. It was as if time itself had frozen with me, like when you are in a head-on collision and something that only took seconds seems to stretch into minutes. The long fingers seemed to grip and glide over the branches. It made the most bizarre sound, confirming with evidence to my ears that something was not normal here. It appeared to be staring at me with its cavernous sockets for eyes. I would tell you I still cannot recollect taking another breath in all this time. If it went on for much longer, I would have passed out from lack of oxygen to the brain. At last I allowed myself a strained breath, ensuring I didn't make any sudden noise or movement. My eye flicked in the direction of my house. How far? Now my heart began to race. Flight was imminent. Blood was pumping into my legs. I was not aware my body was readying me to run. I imagined my legs to be quite like jelly. I felt that if I should break out into a sprint, I would immediately fall on my face due to lack of stiffness to the muscles. This is how it feels to have adrenaline coursing through the system. There was nothing else I could do but to hope I could get a head start and run as fast as I could to safety. Through the remaining bushes to my left, I could just make out street lamps, indicating the end of my street. Unfortunately, my house was right at the top of the street. I was never the best sprinter. I was trained for cross-country, long-distance running. I just hoped that the terror rising up inside me like bile would be enough to keep my sprint at maximum. I was certainly pumped full of juice to fuel me at the very least half the way, and perhaps once I was out in the open, it would not venture there and I would be safe. It turns out I was mistaken, and in fact I was about to do the fastest 300-meter sprint ever attempted, because my very life was at stake. Not some shiny trophy or pat on the back. My life depended on me making it all the way into my house. Only then should I be safe. As soon as I took my first step, the shadow leapt towards me. My heart stopped again, and I let out a stifled squeal, thinking it had shortened the distance between us in one almighty leap. As one foot followed the other, I began to increase my pace. Every muscle was willing me to go faster. I put my head, swung my arms, pumping them down as I tried to lengthen my stride. I half turned to look to see if it could grasp me, and nearly collided with the eucalyptus, badly scratching my face with dry, sharp spikes of leafless branches. Don't look back. Just go. Don't look back. Don't look back. Further on, I almost tripped on a root slightly raised. I was becoming a cliché of every horror chase scene. When you're in the moment, these things may flit across the mind, but they are real hindrances and possibilities, and not just to be scoffed at in a life or death situation. At last I was on concrete. The street was softly lit by a few street lamps. I had imagined I would be safer now and may even have slowed slightly, believing that the exposure would cause the lurking creature to skulk back into its den or wherever it had crept out of. I was wrong. Something slid down my shirt and my mind leapt. The impression of a feathered hand lightly brushing across the material. I nearly choked on my own tongue when I realized the terrifying implications. The thing was now right behind me and I was almost within its grasp. I dug deep within for untapped reserves and accelerated on the spot. I was gone in 30 seconds. My muscles were fully warmed up by now and not so shaky. I could see my house ahead, and I was going to get there. As I ran, I plunged my left hand into my pocket and searched for the key. I was going to have that key ready and steady. No floundering to find the key. I traced the keys as I ran, knowing from feel which one to clasp in my clammy hand. I leapt up the stairs in one bound, steadied myself and slipped the key for one heart-stopping moment. It slipped and slid around the keyhole, then mercifully gained purchase, and I deftly turned it, threw myself inside, did a 180-degree turn, a professional ice skater would be impressed with, and slammed the door, thinking I needed to bring it hard down onto those elongated fingers, which I fully expected to have slipped inside the room. I was going to use my body weight to crush those fingers between door and frame. As it turns out, the thing was not there. I panted and gulped, gasped, and tried to steady myself. The adrenaline was pumping through my veins, making my eyesight juddery, so it was hard for me to focus. I looked through the spy hole in the door. Nothing. I slowly pulled the blinds aside. Tentatively, cautiously, I dared to glance outside, terrified at what I might see there. Please don't smash the windows. Please don't smash the windows. Nothing. I went around the house, checking all the doors and windows, all the while listening for sounds. Nothing. Was it really gone? What if it comes back? What if it breaks the window when I'm asleep? It took me an age to get my breath back. I thought frantically of every case and what I could do to prevent it. I needed protection. I ran into the kitchen and grabbed a large knife. Under the sink, I rifled through the contents of the cupboard and found a hammer and some bug spray. After checking several times over each and every window and door, again straining my eyes against the dim glow of the lamps, attempting in vain to glimpse as far as I could towards the black mass, which was the bush where the tormentor had emerged. I could see nothing.